How worry ruins your body, and how to stop it. Hi, how are you today? I hope you're relaxed and ready for an honest chat about something that, believe me, affects all of us in ways we don't always realize. I'm talking about stress and, more specifically, the constant worry that can really undermine our physical and mental health. Have you ever wondered why, even doing everything right, like maintaining a balanced diet, exercising, and even taking supplements, you still feel constantly on alert, as if you're always ready for a fight or flight? This is a sign that something is out of sync, and today we're going to find out together what it might be and how we can tackle it. Chronic worry raises levels of cortisol and adrenaline, which are our stress hormones, and this can have a number of negative repercussions for our body. You might not realize it, but this constant state of alert is silently but dangerously consuming your body's resources. And worse, we often focus on that small negative part of our day, especially at night, which fuels a vicious cycle of more stress and worry. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Let's talk about how this constant tension might be harming you physically and what we can do to change these patterns. It's an important conversation, and I want you to feel comfortable reflecting on how this applies to your life. And of course, throughout our chat, I'll also share some personal stories and practical examples that illustrate these effects and solutions. Ready to start understanding this silent enemy better and learn how to put a brake on this constant worry? Stress and cortisol, a silent evil. Did you know that even with all the care with diet and regular exercise, your body may be, at this very moment, suffering from high levels of cortisol due to stress? This is the famous fight or flight mode, which prepares us to face immediate dangers. But what happens when this mode is constantly activated by daily worry without a real danger in sight? In the long term, this constant activation has a high cost for the body. Cortisol and adrenaline are essential in emergency situations, helping us to react quickly. But when they are always elevated, they begin to harm our health in ways we may not immediately notice. For example, one of the direct consequences is the reduction of gray matter in the brain, which can affect our ability to process information and make decisions. Does this sound familiar to you? Sometimes do you feel that even tired, your brain can't switch off? Another issue is the impact on the immune system. High levels of cortisol can atrophy the thymus, a vital organ for the production of T cells, which are essential in fighting infections. If you notice that you get sick frequently or take longer to recover from colds, it may be a sign that stress is affecting your immune system, and it doesn't stop there. Chronic stress also influences our musculature and hormones, such as testosterone, and interferes with how our body uses the energy from food. Have you noticed that during periods of stress you might crave sweets more, even without consuming sugar? This happens because your body is seeking quick energy to sustain this continuous state of alert. I know it may seem a bit scary to think about all these effects, but the first step to changing this picture is to understand what's happening. Now that we know a little about how stress affects our body inside, how about we talk about the more visible physical effects it can cause? Physical effects of stress, more than just tiredness. When we talk about stress, we often associate it only with tiredness or the feeling of being mentally overwhelmed. But the physical effects go much further and can cause significant impacts on our general well-being. Let's detail how this happens. Firstly, prolonged stress can lead to muscle atrophy. That's right, it's not just lack of exercise that causes muscle loss, but also excess cortisol. This can make you feel weaker and less able to perform physical activities, directly affecting your quality of life. Additionally, stress affects our ability to digest in a very drastic way. The production of pancreatic enzymes and stomach acid is reduced, which can result in a series of digestive discomforts, such as acid reflux. Maybe you've noticed that your digestion seems more slow or problematic during high-tension periods. This is not a coincidence. It's your body reacting to stress. The bile, essential for the digestion of fats, also has its production affected, which can lead to problems such as constipation and poor nutrient absorption. These are clear signs that your body is asking for help to deal with stress. And speaking of rest, the impact of stress on sleep is something we cannot ignore. The quality of our sleep is directly affected by our stress levels. Have you ever had nights where, even exhausted, you tossed and turned in bed unable to sleep? This happens because your body is in a state of alert, making it difficult to relax enough for deep restorative sleep. I share this not to increase your worries, but so that we can together recognize the signs our body sends us and start taking steps to improve our health and quality of life. Psychology of stress, the power of the mind over the body. When we think about stress, it's common to focus only on the physical symptoms, but the truth is that everything starts in the mind. The way our brain processes daily experiences can keep us in a constant state of alert, especially if we tend to focus on the 1% negative of our days. This phenomenon is something many of us experience, but don't always understand the implications of it. Imagine that you had a predominantly good day, but there was a minor setback, something really minor. However, at night, while trying to sleep, it's this small negative moment that keeps coming back to your mind over and over again. This is not just a nuisance, it's your brain in problem-solving mode. The difference here is that, instead of solving real and immediate problems, we often find ourselves stuck in worry cycles that lead nowhere, the so-called paralysis by analysis. This mental state not only steals our peace and emotional well-being, but also triggers real physical reactions in the body. The brain does not fully distinguish between a real danger and an unfounded worry. Thus, it reacts by raising cortisol levels and preparing the body for an action that, most of the time, is not necessary. This results in physical and mental wear and tear. Moreover, the constant focus on worries can prevent us from enjoying the moments of joy and gratitude that life offers. This continuous state of alert prevents us from truly relaxing, even in moments of leisure and rest, creating an exhausting cycle that can be hard to break. Understanding this process is the first step to changing it. By recognizing that our thoughts have such a significant impact on our physical health, we can start to implement practices that help us better manage our thoughts and, consequently, our stress. Solutions and therapies. Redirecting thoughts to relieve stress. One of the most effective ways to combat stress is by engaging in activities that distract us and provide joy and satisfaction. For example, have you ever tried dedicating yourself to the arts or a hobby that has always sparked your interest? An interesting study pointed out that making art for just 45 minutes can significantly reduce cortisol levels. This is not just a fun activity, it's a therapeutic form of expression that helps calm the mind and can be an excellent tool for dealing with stress. I myself have found woodworking to be a wonderful outlet. The process of creating something with your hands not only occupies the mind, but also brings a sense of accomplishment and pride that can combat feelings of anxiety and insecurity. And it doesn't have to be something grand. Small projects can have a big impact on your well-being. Another technique I recommend is meditation, or the practice of mindfulness. These practices help center your attention on the present moment, reducing the tendency to worry about future events or past regrets. Meditation can be as simple as dedicating a few minutes of your day to breathe deeply and observe your thoughts without judgment, allowing them to come and go without clinging to them. Changing the focus of daily activities can also be very beneficial. If you find yourself often thinking about problems or worries, try consciously redirecting your attention to tasks or activities that require your concentration and skill. This can be anything from gardening to playing chess, or even learning a new language. Lastly, never underestimate the power of sharing your experiences and hobbies with others. This not only reinforces your own commitment to these practices, but can also inspire others to find new ways to manage stress. I encourage you to share in the comments what hobbies or techniques you use to reduce stress. Who knows, your experience might help someone who is going through the same thing. With these tools, I hope you find effective ways to relieve stress and improve your physical and mental health. Now let's close our conversation with some final reflections and considerations on how to move forward with everything we've discussed today.